You have to watch his hands, and I think they said that he bobbled the ball.
Maybe he did.
His feet were in bounds, and what the official was saying that he bobbled the ball. So
he's looking for a challenge, I think.
We ought to look at it again, and this time, instead of looking at the feet, look at the ball and see if he has control of the ball when his feet are in bounds.
I think he's going to challenge. And he's saying exactly what you said. He's juggling, bobbling.
Yeah, that was a signal. You have to see if he had control, because there's no question. You see the signal when the official comes up and he does like that, hands up and down, hands up and down. That means bobble the ball, no control.
You don't see him bobble many, Chris Carter.
And I don't know that. I mean, if it was a bobble, it was a little bobble. Yeah. It wasn't a big bobble.
It's not reviewable due to the bobble on the sideline. It'll be third down.
I thought this should have been a catch.
Well, if there's a bobble, it's a real little bobble. I don't think that's a bobble.
I don't either.
No, this doesn't look like a bobble. I mean, I think he catches that with those hands, and he has control over the way. I don't believe. Now, they can't review it, but I don't think that official was right that that was a bobble.
Either. He never did bobble it.
Bobble's a fun word to say, though.
Yes, it is. George for Jake Reed, incomplete. Let's go down to Ron Pitts.
Well, Pat, I talked to Coach Dick Vermeil at halftime. Said the main problem is we started out so fast. As a coaching staff, we got away from some things, like the run game. They're going to try to come back and be more patient with that. The last thing he said coming out before to the half here, he told the team, we've taken their best shot. Now let's give them ours. I think that kickoff return for a touchdown was a good example of another good shot by the Rams. Pat, back up to you.
And here, thank you, Ryan. Here's another guy who's capable of taking a shot. Hakeem. To the 45, a flag on the play.
There's going to be a face mask there. But they are fun to watch, though.
They are so quick.
And it's not only offense. I mean, you think of wide receivers when you think of speed, but this is defense. This is special teams, punt return, kickoff return. Everything they do with an up tempo.
Even into the huddle and out, everything is quick.
And face mask, 5 yards on the kicking team, number 57 during the return. 5-yard penalty, first down.
You know, you watch them practice, and the way they look here on the field on Sunday is the way they practice during the week.
The Pacific, it's all next Sunday, and it's only on Fox.
And if the Rams win, the game's here. If Minnesota wins, it's in Tampa Bay. That was the thing that Dick Vermeil talked about that they wanted to get back to, that they got, you know, sometimes you do, and as he was saying, you kind of get enamored with this quick strike, and you get the play and you get the big plays, and then you forget about the basics, and then your offensive line doesn't get into the game. And I think that's what happened to this Ram offensive line at the end of the half. They hadn't gotten into the game because they hadn't had any running yet.
3 wide receivers this time. Flag on the play. Falk straight ahead. Ed McDaniel tripped him up.
I'll tell you, Marshall Falk is really quick. I mean, you know, whether it's catching the ball and turning and running with it, or just hitting a play like that, a trap play. I mean, he gets there so quick.
Defense number 92, 5 yards, results in a
Dwayne Clemens jumped again.
Right, here's Clemens right here, and you see him jump, and then you see the trap play. I mean, the guards block back, and you see the tackle pulling right there. Well, you did see it. He was well, it was a tackle trap, but I'll tell you, he really hit that thing quickly, Marshall Falk.
He does hit it in a hurry.
Ricky Crow was in the backfield.
Yeah. Now Hakeem was in the backfield, and here's Falk. Another, close to at least, another first down, tripped up by McDaniel.
And that's exactly what Dick Vermeil told Ron Pitts at halftime, is that they want to get back to this. And this was my feeling at halftime. they ought to. I mean, here's Marshall Faulk here. You can see he doesn't get in a stance. He just has both hands on his knees, and he just has great speed and quickness and vision and all that stuff. He was saying one thing, that he doesn't have to look where he's going. So defensive guys can't key his eyes.
Second and short. Dwayne Rudd wrapped up Marshall Faulk for a loss.
And that's that draw play where Kurt Warner goes back and he'll take a three-step drop and then pump like he's going to throw it and then hand it to Marshall Faulk. What? 1, 2, 3, pump, and then come back and hand. Dwayne Rudd, number 57, read it all the way. Didn't go for the 1, 2, 3 pump, just went for the draw.
He's one of the guys that's supposed to affect the linebackers.
But he had seen that play on film and in practice, and he didn't go for it one iota.
On third down. Pass is caught by the tight end, Roland Williams. And Williams gets down to the 15.
Let me just see that formation again, because I saw Roland Williams at practice the other day, and he said, draw me up. He said, if I make a play, he said, draw me up. He said, I want to be drawn up. So here he is right here. I'll draw him up. He's right here, and he's going to come across right here. Now again, you think of the backs, you think of the wide receivers, and they don't throw a lot to the tight end, but here I'll draw him up twice. So he got drawn up.
Yeah. He got his wish. First and 10.
I met his grandmother. His grandmother was at practice yesterday. Roland Williams' grandmother.
Faulk hit behind the line. Kylie Wong tripped him up. Hitchcock out of the game for Minnesota.
No game.
Well, Jimmy Hitchcock is the right corner. Robert Tate is playing that position now, and there's Foch Fazio signaling in the defenses. But if they were going to take advantage of Hitchcock not being in there, they haven't done it yet. Robert Tate just 4 or 5 weeks ago was a wide receiver.
Here's Warner. Gets it upfield to Ricky Prohl, who crosses and gets a first down, crosses the 5.
Now in this play here, Ricky Prohl was a 3rd wide receiver. He's in there as a 4th wide receiver too. That time he comes in motion, and Dick Vermeil told us yesterday, he said anytime you see Ricky Prohl in there as the 3rd wide receiver, not the 4th guy, we are going to go to him. He is the #1 target.
They're going to measure. It appeared he had it.
Look at this. When they get down here, they're pretty good at getting touchdowns. 56 possessions, 37 touchdowns, and that's 2nd in the league.
And that's 1st and goal. There's Hitchcock, Jimmy Hitchcock.
He's saying that he's ready to go. He wants to go back in. They just sent him back in.
Yeah. 1st and goal at the 4. Our information is that he just had cramps. Of course, that can be very painful.
And chasing this speed all day can cause cramps.
Warner tosses, incomplete. Isaac Bruce, the target.
That's not one of Kurt Warner's strengths.
No.
Is running with the ball.
Especially not running left.
No, he's not going to be a threat when he does that. I mean, they have so much speed and so many weapons that one of those weapons is not Kurt Warner when he's running out here. I mean, he doesn't look like he's putting the fear in anyone with his running ability. Although he does get outside containment, then he has a chance to read. He had to wait a little too long to try and get the ball out here to Isaac Bruce.
Of course, he played Arena League football, and the way the Rams play, they make it look like Arena League. Everything's so quick.
And I think, that
part of
the things that he did, one of the things he does so well is get rid of the ball quickly, and I think that was developed in Arena League.
Delay on the offense.
And with people close to him.
That's the other thing. We were talking to him about that yesterday, and he said he got that as a freshman in high school. He said they had a drill when he was a freshman quarterback in high school, and the drill was no receivers. He'd just go back to pass. The drill was called Kill Kurt, and they would just run right at him and run into him. And he said that's how he learned to stand in there as a freshman in high school.
Never threw it. No receivers, as you said.
But the drill was called Kill Kurt. I don't know. You'd come back too many times for your sophomore year.
They'd make you give up the game, wouldn't they? Warner found Bruce, who tried to stretch out and get it in the end zone, but is cut down at the 1.
He just came right back. You hear that that booing sound? That's, of course, is Bruce. They just Bruce, that type of thing. But you see the time that he has now. You know, we talked about that pass rush that the Vikings were starting to get in the second quarter, at the end of the half. They don't have it now because Kurt Warner had all kinds of time to find this.
Number 50 lined up on the left of the offensive line is eligible to catch a pass.
That's Ryan Tucker, the extra tight end.
It goes to Falk, and Falk hammers in the end zone, touchdown. As a ball carrier, as a pass receiver, as a person, Marshall Falk says, I always want to know where the trouble can come from.
That's right, because he wants to know where it is and where it can be, so he can either go there and take it on or not go there. Watch him. He's going to get a lead right here, and no one touched him. I mean, until he got in the end zone.
Wilkins' extra point is good. It's 28-17.
Yeah, this is the thing that Marshall Falk does. He sees everything, but he said he doesn't have to look where he's going.
Thinking about hair loss?
Huh?
Yeah,
that's great.
That's January 30th. Excuse me. Mo Williams. Fumble, and the Rams have it. The Rams come up with the ball.
Look at this crowd. This is the first playoff game that they've had here in St. Louis in their history.
Recovered by James Hodgins.
There's their special teams coach, Frank Gans. He's a motivational guy.
Yeah. The ball's loose.
But you see that hand just came in there and ripped it out. It was under one of the Vikings' legs.
Hodgins dug it out of there. 1st and 10, the Rams.
Frank Gans
looking to put it away.
The special teams coach's nickname is Crash.
He can tell you some motivational stories, can't he?
I sat in their meeting yesterday, and he gave a great story about war and the Marines and spirit de corps and that whole thing. Heck, he had me fired up. I would have ran down under a kickoff.
I noticed it. The room cleared when you came back.
Yeah, you know, you listen to motivation like that, and you know that you have one left in you. You know, you always have one hit left in you, and you kind of save it and maybe take it with you. I thought maybe I'd use that one.
You thought you had one?
Yeah, but then I went to bed and I woke up and I said, where the heck did that stupid thought come from?
I'm going to stand clear if you got one.
No, yeah, you still have one. You have one left in you, but then when are you going to use it? Maybe never.
That's what scares me.
Oh, you take it with you.
2nd and 8. That's Marshall Falk. Flag on the play. Falk is knocked down by Wong, but there's a flag on the play.
And the flag is back here. Then it's going to be holding. It's probably against Roland Williams. I don't know if you'll want me to draw him up on that one, but he was a guy I said, you know, sometimes they hit their heads or put their arms out.
60, offense, 10 yards, repeat 2nd down.
That's the center, Mike Grudadoria. But it was way back. It was they blitzed up the middle is what they did, and then Marshall Falk got to the outside. Watch, you'll see the blitz here. Here's Grudadoria here.
It just isn't enough room on the back of that jersey for that name.
And he just picked him up right there. In fact, he got Dwayne right. He grabbed him with his left hand, but that's what they did. They ran a split 6 blitz where you blitz those 2 A gaps. Marshall Falk saw it and bounced it to the outside. Grudadoria just grabbed Rudd.
2nd and 18.
Oh, I got it.
got a long life.
And here's Warner back to throw. Has plenty of time and has a man wide open. That's Torrey Holt, who spins up for a first down.
You know, and I think the key thing is, I mean, Torrey Holt gets open, Kurt Warner throws him the ball, but the key thing is, you said, has plenty of time.
Yep.
And you know, if you have plenty of time, then you can do these kinds of things. But look how quickly these guys come and how they spread and they move, and they have guys open all over the place. But here's what it is. It's right here. It's this offensive line blocking and forming the pocket and giving Kurt Warner that kind of time.
Two tight ends set up this time, and that's one of them in motion. And the pitch is back to Fall.
I don't think that he made it. I think Robert Griffith stopped him short.
I don't think he did either.
At the first down there, they tried that option play, that flip.
They said they weren't going to use that.
Well, they used it in short yardage. This is an interesting situation. You know, the Rams do have a fake field goal here. And you know, whether you call it or not, I think this if you can get a fake field goal here.
This is a good spot for it.
Yeah, but I don't think they got the right defense for it. I think they'll kick this one.
42 yards out is Wilkins. Not good. No good. Didn't look like he hit it quite flush. 28-17. The Rams lead. Nevertheless, 5:42 left in the third.
Out here, the stories unfold like a map. Stories written across.
Familiar name of McGuire up there with that 75. George gives to Smith.
I think the Bowling Hall of Fame was in that same building.
The same building is right. This big bowling country here. And baseball. And football.
Well, I'll tell you right now, it's football.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been here since Thursday, and these people, everything is yellow and blue. I mean, in fact, yesterday I ate some blue bagels.
Did you?
Yeah.
I don't know
Some
if I
yellow
did that or
ones
not.
too. Chose the blue. That was stupid.
2nd and 9. George drops. Incomplete. Dropped by Jordan, the tight end.
And that was the first time that Jeff George has thrown to a tight end, I think, in 2 weeks. Last week against the Cowboys, they didn't throw to the tight end.
He tried once.
And I think that's the first time that he's thrown to one today.
Hit himself in the head.
Yeah. Watch what they do to Randy Moss out there. We're talking about Dexter McLean has been trying to play him physical all day. And that time he was kind of above and beyond. He even grabbed the face mask.
3 wide receivers this time. The Rams play nickel, show him blitz. Now they back out of it. Now they come around the corner. George gets away from it. Pass is incomplete. Good coverage. Intended for Jake Reed.
And the coverage again was out here with Dexter McLean. He's the guy that they've been trying to work on, but he's been up to it today.
Yes, he has.
I mean, he's a scrappy guy, and he's been out there, and he's been fighting those wide receivers. He's been hitting them. He got the interception, remember, when he was coming under. But he's playing this game very physical, and that's a good quick reaction there. Remember earlier he almost had an interception on a quick pass.
Zahir Hakeem. Hakeem wrapped up by Harold Morrow. But the Rams have the ball. Yeah. Check your local listing. Kurt Warner, 13 out of 17. Attempt number 18 is complete default. Midfield and the cross.
Look at the moves that he has. I mean, he can go. I mean, he has Barry Sanders-like moves where you take one step to the right and your next step is to the left. I mean, most people can't do these kinds of things. And if they did, they'd have to be stretched out and redone again. Watch how he takes a step that way and then back way and then back the other way.
All under control, too.
This is what it looks like if you were trying to tackle it. You see how he just...
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a kid. as I said before, when he played tag as a kid, he was never it.
Warner, the rush gets him. John Burrow, Jerry Ball, and Dwayne Rudd.
Well, watch this. They tried the shovel pass, and we said how they take that away. You see, it's right here, and you just see how defensive linemen now, they see that type of thing, and they go and they tackle the guy, and then they can't get to him, and then there's no one to throw it to. Jerry Ball read that perfectly. Saw Marshall Faulk go and said, this is a shovel pass or a screen, and Jerry Ball just tackled him, and then Kurt Warner had to eat the ball.
So it's 2nd and long. 18 make it. 4 wide receivers this time as Warner has no backs with him, but gets it upfield. That's Faulk again, and Faulk is down to the 20, and a flag on the play.
The same play that Dallas ran against him. They go empty backfield, find out who Dwayne Rudd, number 57, is on, then take that matchup and throw the ball to him. That time Dwayne Rudd was on Marshall Faulk.
And he can't cover him.
No, and they can't. And they've done that earlier in the game, too. Spread it out, find out where 57 goes, and go to work on that area.
80 of the offense during the run, 10 yards, still first down.
Called against Isaac Bruce, but you heard Walt Coleman say it's still first down for the Rams.
One thing about these Ram receivers too is they do block, and you saw how they get that thing spread out again, and we'll see it again, I'm sure, because they've done it earlier. The Cowboys did it last week, is get them spread out, then find out who the linebacker's on and just let him go.
Amp Lee has taken the place of Marshall Faulk. He's a deep back. Warner fakes, throws it to the other side to Torrey Holt.
You know, Mike Martz is the offensive coordinator that came in here and put this offense in for Dick Vermeil and the Rams, and there's Mike Martz right there, and he says that he learned his football from Ernie Zampese, and he said Ernie Zampese always told him, just get the ball into your big play guys, get the ball in the hand of your big play guys, and that's what offensive football is about. And you can just see he has so many big play guys here, and he has different ways of getting their hands on the ball.
That's Amp Lee, who is a very large part of the offense here with the Rams last year. But when they got Marshall Faulk,
yeah, talking about part of an offense, there's a guy who's a big play guy, an important part of the New York Jets offense, Keyshawn Johnson. And, you know, we talk about big receivers and physical receivers. Keyshawn is that, too.
3rd and 5. Excuse me, John.
No, Evander Holyfield is here somewhere, too. I saw him earlier.
Warner back. They have the first down. Hakeem tried to cut it back outside and almost lost the first, but he got it.
You just see the way he spreads the ball around. I mean, it's Amp Lee, it's Holt, it's Hakeem, it's Bruce, it's Marshall Faulk. They just have all different guys. And watch as you watch this. I mean, you see 3 and 4 guys open all the time. And this Mike Martz has brought in an offense is really something. I said I saw Evander Holyfield there. The champ is right there. I tell you, and I still call him champ.
Holt. Complete to Robert Holcomb. There's a name we haven't heard much of, Holcomb.
Yeah, we just said how they spread the ball around. Did you see John Randall come flying through there, though? Watch John Randall. He's right here. I guess it isn't Randall. It's right here. I saw someone coming in front, and that's what you know Kurt Warner learned years ago in that kill Kurt drill, that there's going to be guys flying at you.
That's
but
McDaniel.
You don't let them bother you. That was Ed McDaniel come flying. I watch it. He just takes off and leaves. But watch Kurt Warner. I mean, he still looks downfield. Now, how you can look downfield and concentrate and complete when you have stuff like that in front of you?
Touchdown. Jeff Robinson from Warner. They can't stop him.
They got him coming from all over. Jeff Robinson was a defensive lineman at one time that they converted to tight end. He's a second tight end right here. You see he fakes like he's going to block, and then he just runs right through the end zone. And there was no coverage there. They probably thought it was run. They probably thought they were down there in the goal line. There's no way they're going to throw to Jeff Robinson. Heck, he's an ex-defensive lineman. Boom, they throw it to him for a touchdown.
Extra point by Wilkins is good. 35-17. A team playoff record of 325 yards.
And he is pumped up. And, you know, we're getting the separation now here, the winning and losing, and you can see it on one sideline and feel it on the other. Good pass protection. Again, Kurt Warner having the time to find Robinson.
We know that Buccaneer coach Tony Dungy is watching down in Tampa.
Yeah.
And we'll be talking to him later, and he can't be enjoying this shootout too much.
And Terry Bradshaw said something about that they would rather play the Rams than Minnesota. I sure don't agree with that, because one thing, if they got to play Minnesota, I think they'd play the lesser of the two teams, and they'd get to play them at home.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to have to play, if they play the Rams, they'd have to play, I think, the better of the two teams, and they've been the better of the two teams all season. But the other big thing is they'll have to come here where they haven't lost a game all year.
And it's on the turf, and they are very fast.
And like I said earlier, that playoff experience right now, you can throw that out there. Out the window. I mean, where does that count? Who's thinking about that right now?
The only thing you can say about it so far for Minnesota, it's an unpleasant experience.
And look at this dominance in the third quarter by the St. Louis Rams, all starting with a kickoff return.
Robert Tate. 27. Tonight,
none of them were Isaac Bruce. So that's spreading the ball around, and that's having a lot of guys that can make things happen with the ball in their hands.
Jeff George fumbles the snap, and the Rams have it. The Rams have it. DeMarco Farr comes out with it. I just started to say that Minnesota, thinking about establishing a balanced attack, just went out the window. They're going to have to throw it. Now they can't get the ball from the center to the quarterback.
Yeah, the balanced attack is over. As you said, the ball just comes up there. It looks like it got up there and just flopped out of Jeff George's hands. I mean, that's something. We're in playoffs now. I mean, that's something that should never happen. The exchange between the center and the quarterback, that ought to be as automatic can get. That's automatic on the high school level.
1st and 10 Rams at the Viking 23-yard line. 4 wide receivers. They're going after it. Falk moves in motion. No backs. Warner outside to Hakeem. Out of bounds at the 13 by Robert Griffith.
We were talking about Mike Martz, and even before the game saying how they're going to come out in attack mode, throwing the ball, and he came out in an attack mode, throwing the ball, and now we're in the 4th quarter, and he's still doing it. I mean, they come here and they got the lead, and they spread them out. They have empty backfields and hitting different receivers, getting into the 4th quarter. He really has them going.
And that's the end of the 3rd.
It's a cartoon.
Warner sidearms one down to Torrey Holt. He gets to the 5.
Warner has a hot hand now. He's 12 out of 13. The only incomplete pass he had was on that one that he kind of ran out there on a sprint out or whatever that thing was.
Shot put it into the end zone.
Yeah, but other than that, he's been perfect, and he's throwing it to different guys. Look, in the second half, he's 12 out of 13, 149 yards and a touchdown. He wasn't bad in the first half. He was 9 out of 12 and 2 touchdowns.
35-17. Boy, you got him. Don't let him up.
What a story Kurt Warner's been.
Quarterback draw. Down to about the 1. John Randall riding him.
There's Kurt Warner's wife we talked about earlier, Brenda, and then right next to her is his mother, Sue, in the blue sweater there with the smile and clapping. Mother and wife. They're really happy. I mean, what a year this has to be for them. Huh?
Wow.
You know, to live it.
That's some story.
And no one could see that coming. I mean, no one could see the team coming. No one could see Kurt Warner coming before the season.
Warner. He reported, checked in. That's Ryan Tucker, number 50, who made the touchdown catch.
Yeah, we were at practice on Friday, and they were throwing it to Ryan Tucker, and he's a backup offensive lineman. A couple weeks ago, he played left tackle for Orlando Pace, and I was watching that, and I said, oh, they just do it in practice to make them feel good, to have some laughs, and I'll be doggone if they didn't do it in the game. But this is what, here he is. Here's the old offensive lineman there, fakes, blocks, and no one's going to guard him. I mean, if you're number 60, no one's going to block you. No one's going to guard you if you're number 50.
New weapon. Extra points good.
Yeah, we talk about all their weapons. We have to add Tucker. Yeah, I did, but I mean, not an old-time one like that. I used to be what they call a lumper. I was a lumper.
A lumper?
Yeah, a lumper. You're the guy for meat and for beer, and you're the guy that carries it in the store.
Ball was loose.
There may be some foreign objects under there. There's stuff going on.
Pointing like they got it back, but I think it was down this time.
You can see it in Chris Dolman's face there. He's been a great player for 15 years in this league, and
one of what, 4 with over 150 sacks.
He retired last year, and then the Vikings brought him back, and he came back to the Vikings because he wanted one more shot. He'd never won a Super Bowl, wanted a shot at a Super Bowl, and if he gets it, then you know that would be the end of that dream. And if he doesn't get it this year, he's going to retire, and this could very well be his last game.
Could be. Started off with the Vikings, finished with the Vikings. Screen pass to Smith, dragged down from behind by London Fletcher. Read it perfectly.
London Fletcher's nickname, he calls himself, is .com. He said, you just put me on a line and I go get it. There's old .com.
Yeah.
And he was .com on that play.
He calls himself a lot taller than he is, too.
No. He wants himself shorter because they tried to give him 6 feet and he didn't want 6 feet. He said there's some advantages to being short. 1, they can't always see you, and 2, you're always in a hitting position. So far today, he has 9 tackles and 1 sack.
Here's Jeff George. Firing up the middle to Chris Carter, incomplete.
You know, London Fletcher went to John Carroll University, and you know who else went to John Carroll University?
Don
football
Shula.
Player.
Don Shula.
Look at that. Here's what it is. London Fletcher, now in the media guide, they list him as 6 feet. And he got mad at that, and he went to the guys and said, I don't want to be listed at. So in the team releases, like the stuff we get now, they list him at 5'10". I checked him out yesterday next to Sandy Grossman, and I think he's like 5'9". I got him at 5'9".
Sandy Grossman, of course, is our director, who says he's 5'7".
No, he's 5'4".
Sandy? Flag on the play.
But I think that some of these guys, like a London Fletcher, are good role models. I mean, for kids that they say you're too small.
Offense, 5 yards. Still 3rd down.
You know, for too small, you don't have a chance. You can't make it. You shouldn't. You know that if you have whatever it takes to make it, no matter what your size, you're going to be able to play. You'll find a place to play. And that's what Sam Mills did right before London Fletcher. That's what London Fletcher did.
About the same size.
And it's these guys that are special guys that, you know, it's not always great big old guys.
Jeff George back in the shotgun. Incomplete. Somebody hit his arm just as he let it go. Clemens hit his arm. And they will have to punt.
Clemens is there, and Wistrop is there. You see, here's Clemens coming from his right side, and just as Jeff George went to throw the ball, Clemens hit his right elbow. Watch his hand come, and it's going to hit his elbow just as he releases that.
Anybody who says that bye week doesn't mean anything doesn't know anything about this game, because the two that had the byes won yesterday, and the bye recipient is going to get win today.
Yeah, but I mean, the Rams are the better team, but don't they look like the fresher team?
The fresher, that's what I'm talking
very
about.
Fresh.
Yeah. Feel like he's been in the middle most of the day. Here's Warner pitching back to Marshall Faulk, and Faulk goes for 11.
You know, Marshall Faulk, you know, we talked about how quick he is and how he says he doesn't have to look where he's going. Remember as a kid, you'd run into a wall or something and someone would always yell, well, look where you're going. So probably in his life, no one ever yelled at Marshall Faulk, hey, look where you're going.
I bet somebody did.
But then he learned to go where you're not looking.
Yep.
He went to San Diego State because they were the only school that told him he could be a running back.
Goes to show you how wrong a lot of people can be. The pass is complete to Torrey Holt.
Runner's pass completed to 88. Torrey Holt.
After the game is over, don't forget to stick around with us. Coming up on our Budweiser postgame report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris will have final thoughts, and the Fox Sports sticker will have up to the second stats. That's coming up after the game on the Budweiser postgame report. Not too many final thoughts that you could have about the Rams, except they are very fast and very quick striking and very effective.
Kurt Warner is close to perfect.
Bounces off his fullback Robert Holcomb.
When they talk about guys getting in a zone or getting in a mode or getting online or whatever it is, Kurt Warner is, and London Fletcher just sent word up through Ron Pitts that he's online. I don't know how long it took him to get online, but he said he's online now, so that's his nickname .com.
I remember having dinner with Dick Vermeil last summer, and they were just about to come out of training camp, and he said, if nothing happens to my quarterback, we'll be pretty good. At that time, the quarterback was Trent Green. This guy is pretty good. Catch by Hakeem. Difficult catch.
You know, and you talk about a guy that is stuck with it. I mean, here's a guy that in college didn't play until his 5th year. Then he went to Green Bay, and he was just kind of a camp guy. And then he went and played in the Arena League. And then he went and played in
Europe.
NFL Europe.
Yeah.
And then he was a backup. And then Trent Green goes down, and they say, Kurt Warner here, the job is yours. And the guy has been amazing.
There's Trent Green. Amazing thing is, when Cleveland started picking in the expansion draft, he was exposed. They could have had Kurt Warner.
Yeah, so now the Rams can't say, well, we knew Kurt Warner could always do it because they wouldn't have exposed him.
That's Holcomb.
25. Robert Holcomb.
You want to see how Kurt Warner got to where he is today? This is how he did it right here. College, Northern Iowa right there. Then he went to the Packers. And then he plays for the Iowa Barnstormers. Then he goes way over here, like, whoa, way over there, Amsterdam.
You would have had a tough time doing all that.
I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it. Then he comes back and plays with the Rams. No, I could have played for the Iowa Barnstormers. I couldn't have played over there in Amsterdam. I couldn't get there.
A lot of cornfields out in Iowa. There's Warner. Pass complete. Hakeem.
That's where that kill Kurt helped. I mean, he was getting him. Jerry Ball was right down there on him, just bearing down, and he just stood in there. I mean, it's a blitz, and you're going to see the Vikings are coming after Kurt Warner now. Here comes the blitz, and he just stands in there. Watch, he steps up, throws that thing, takes a hit. No matter what you do to Kurt Warner, he has not become or come close to being unraveled. We're talking about the two most impressive things about him is how quickly he gets rid of the ball and how he stands in there.
There's another thing very impressive about him, too, and that's the kind of person he is. His story, if you haven't read it, read it, because it's great. Inside the 5 is Ernie Conwell, and I think somebody got him by the face mask.
And that's going to be like the 10th guy that caught a pass, because we just had a graphic showing 9, and now Ernie Conwell comes in, and he's the 10th guy. So one thing about Kurt Warner, he is going to spread that thing around. And there gets to be a point now you can see these Vikings now.
Face mask, grasping and twisting. 52 of the defense. Half the distance to the goal.
There's so much freshness about the Rams. There's so much newness about the Rams, and they're so enthusiastic. It's great to see.
Yeah, and they're fun. I mean,
yeah.
You know, they're fresh and they're fun, and you can just see that you know that this thing is something that isn't too big for him. I never got the feeling that this and being in the playoffs is too big for him.
Over here, guys, 50.
Ryan Tucker is eligible again. He caught a touchdown pass the last trip down. This time he's lined up on the left.
Watch 50. He's a weapon. They'll be doubling 50.
Touchdown pass. That's Roland Williams. It's like shooting ducks in a barrel.
And like I said, whatever that thing is that you get in, Kurt Warner is in it.
You call it a zone, don't you?
I don't know. I mean, the zone.
I've never been there.
I've never been anything like this, but this guy is hot. That's a 6 different Ram with a touchdown today.
Whew. Well, we watched Jacksonville overwhelm Miami yesterday. The Vikings, don't forget, led this game at the half.
There's mom and wife and center's wife. Most of it, and I'll tell you, they are making the most of it today.
Wilkins has had a lot of practice kicking off, but Tate's going to bring it out of the end zone. Coverage is good at the 20. Let's go down to Ron Pitts.
Well, Pat, all year long, the one thing the Rams have heard consistently is that they haven't played anybody. Even when they won, that's been the same old theme. Well, the Rams players were down here just a few minutes ago screaming, hey, I guess we still haven't played anybody. Back up to you, Pat.
Well, in the second half, it looked like there was nobody else out there.
You know, and I never believed that one all year. That, you know, when there was a point from the middle of the year on that you could tell that the Rams were one of the better teams, and then the last 5 or 6 weeks you could tell they were the best team in the NFC. And I didn't think that schedule thing, I thought that was a bunch of baloney, and I thought not having any experience in the playoffs was a bunch of baloney.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, of course, beat Washington yesterday, and they'll face the winner of this game, and Tony Dungy, the winner of that victorious team yesterday, is listening, and I wonder what your thoughts are, Tony.
Well, I'll tell you, Pat and John, these guys look very, very impressive. They're playing with a lot of confidence, and they have so much team speed all over the field. You see it on offense, defense, and special teams, and it's going to be a big challenge. Yeah, well, you started today, Tony, and again, congratulations on your win yesterday, but you didn't know who you were going to play or where you were going to play, and I think now we can say you know who you're going to play. You're going to play the Rams, and you're going to play them here. What are your feelings? What do you do next, like when this game is over? What is the first thing you're going to do to get ready for the Rams? Well, we actually graded our film this morning, and we kind of started up on the Rams because we'd played Minnesota twice. So we started working on them. Our players will actually have the day off today, and then we'll come in and get a normal workout in tomorrow. But we've got to take a long look at them because we don't know a lot about them. Well, I'll tell you one thing. On offense, they give you a lot of sets with a lot of different guys handling the ball. They really do look impressive on offense, and they've got some great skill position guys, and they move them all around, and they seem to get the ball to them on the run, and they can do things with it, especially on that AstroTurf. Well, will your coaches start working on the Rams tonight? Yeah, we'll actually start this afternoon just looking at a little tape, breaking it down and seeing what we can come up with.
Will you do some work on the artificial turf?
No, we've played on artificial turf a lot, and we've played up in Detroit in the Dome. We played in Seattle, so that won't be a big problem. And we've got a speed team also, so we hope that surface helps us a little bit.
Well, Tony, thank you very much for this, and congratulations again.
All right, thanks a lot. See you guys next week.
Okay.
Okay, Tony, thanks.
Tony Dungy.
He's a class guy. I mean, we're going to have, you know, Tony Dungy and Dick Vermeil next week for the championship, and of course the winner of that game goes to the Super Bowl. And this is a rematch of the '79 NFC championship.
And look at the score of that game.
Yep, the Rams won 9-0.
I did that game. It wasn't the most exciting.
Well, when you don't have any touchdowns and 3 field goals, I'll guarantee you it won't be that kind of game next Sunday.
Jake Reed made the catch. They say he was shoved out of bounds by the defender.
Yeah, what the rule is if his feet are in the air and he would have come down in bounds, but is pushed out by the defender, it's in bounds. He's in the air, he would have come down in bounds and is pushed out of bounds, so that's a good call. Although it looked like the one official was saying no.
Yep, he was.
And I think the other official overruled him.
1st and 10. The Vikings inside the Ram 20. Smith. Not much. Again, a reminder that coming up on our Budweiser postgame report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris will have final thoughts, and the Fox Sports sticker will have up to the second stats. And that's coming up next on the Budweiser postgame report.
There you went, the old .com's online, and he's staying online. He's still I mean, he just has a feel, you know, that he commits himself, then can come off a commitment and make another commitment.
Here's George. Escapes one, throws across, caught by Andrew Glover, and that'll make it 1st and goal, Vikings.
That is one of the things that Peter Junta, the defensive coordinator, one of the defensive coordinators of the Rams, they have 2 defensive coordinators. Peter Junta, that's him right there, and John Bunting, and their coach, defensive coordinators. But one of the things he was saying that they wanted to do was to flush Jeff George out, but flush him to his left, because they didn't think that he threw very well running to his left.
Leroy Horde in the backfield. George retreats, fires, touchdown. Jake Reed.
And Jake Reed's been around a long time, and he knows there's no need in celebrating that. I mean, he just kind of threw that one down and walked back to the huddle, or walked off the field, because that's going to be too much too late. But Jeff George can still zip it, can't he?
Yes, he can.
I mean, he's in there, and that ball doesn't stay in the air. That's slow motion. That ball doesn't stay in the air long. And Jake Reed just reached out and caught that ball with one hand. But he's kind of being held by his left hand, and he just sticks the right one out and catches it.
It's going to be 40. Well, they're going for 2. Would you consider this a shootout?
This is a shootout, and I felt coming in it had to be a shootout because neither defense was a real strong defense, although the Rams played very well in all areas.
Hard, untouched, makes it 42-25, a 49-25 Bacon. Hard to keep track of. 4:56 left.
Ever wonder if anyone knows how you feel? They do.
It's all next Sunday, only on Fox.
Now you ask if this is going to be a shootout. Here's an onside kick.
Vikings got it. Chris Carter with the hands.
Minnesota football.
Now the kicking team can't touch it until it comes 10 yards. But if the receiving team touches it right there, now, even though it didn't go 10 yards, the kicking team can recover it.
Carpenter got a hand on it, and Carter came up with it. First and 10 Minnesota. 42-25. Here comes Jeff George.
And we're just going to add this total yards up. Already the Vikings have 328 total yards. The Rams have 414.
That's at 800.
Yeah, so you said that this is going to be a shootout. It is a shootout, and this shootout isn't over yet.
Oh, that's right. The Vikings have the ball.
The crowd's starting to get back in the game again. They started to get into a celebration mode.
Screen pass. Smith checks it out of bounds after a pickup of about 6. Today's game is 2nd and 4. Today's game being produced by Bob Stinner, whose birthday, by the way, is tomorrow. Happy birthday, Bob.
Happy birthday.
Directed by Sandy Grossman, who's 5'7" and something, he said. The associate directors, Mike Roy. The broadcast associates are Charles McDonald and Mark Mata. Pass is complete to Smith. Stumbles around. Might have gotten the first down. Dre Bly. If Sandy's only 5'7.5", all of that 5'7.5" is talent, wouldn't you think?
I had him 5'4".
Oh, well, it's still talent. Yeah, all talent.
Yeah, there's a group of guys that have done a good job. Adam Timmerman there, Miller, right tackle, big Orlando Pace. You know, we know what
Moss.
And we know what Kurt Warner did. I was just saying what Kurt Warner did in the passing and all that. But that offensive line of the Rams did a good job of protecting them.
2nd and short. George spikes it, stop the clock. Technical producer, and he always does a marvelous job. Bob Butler. To our spotter Wayne Fiddleman.
Minnesota 3rd and 1 from the Rams.
Statistician Rick Odioso. And our stage manager Rich Nelson. We thank them. They also always do a wonderful job.
Rick, thank you very much. And to Tom Yohe, who's helping us in the booth today. Thanks to him.
Technical directors Joe Abenda. Audio supervisors Fred Aldis. Flag on the play. The engineers Marty Ibeck. Pre-game show is produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy. Randy Moss. And the hands go up.
That was a free play. What happened is the Rams jumped offside, so there's going to be a penalty on that. But I think it was a free play for the Minnesota Vikings. Jeff George saw it, and he just threw it down to Randy Moss. This will be a touchdown.
Penalty is declined.
It's a touchdown. Pre-game show produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy, senior producer Bill Brown. Let's look at that touchdown.
You see the jump there, so now the whistle doesn't blow because the defender didn't keep going unabated to the quarterback. He tried to get back, so now Jeff George knows that he has a free one, and even though Randy Moss is being double covered, he just throws it up there for the touchdown. So now we'll get another go for 2, then we'll get another onside kick. I couldn't score this many points in a pinball game.
There's a timeout.
30-second timeout.
Senior producer of Fox Sports, Bill Brown. The executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. And we had celebrity bus this morning, didn't we?
Yeah, they were all there today.
Darrell Waldrop, Keyshawn Johnson. There's Jim Hannafin.
Now there's an old line coach, Jim Hannafin. You know, been around. Remember all those years with the Redskins and the Hogs, and
here with the Cardinals.
He was the head coach here of the St. Louis Cardinals, and one of the good coaches in football, one of the top assistants, and one of the real good guys.
We've said this before, but he led the nation in pass receiving.
Yeah, he was
college.
He was a receiver at the University of California in Berkeley. You look at him now, who would have thought? I'll tell you,
he remembers.
He could take the longest time to tell a story of anyone in the league.
49-31. George throws, pass incomplete.
Now old Frank Gans is up there, and he's getting that hands team of his, and he's getting them organized here, because you get to the point where you have the game under control and you've had about enough of this. And I think this is the point that the Rams are, okay, you know, we have it, looks like we have this thing won, but we had enough here. Let's put this fire out right now. And I'm sure that's what Frank Gans is called. Look at him.
Oh,
he's even bending his knees. I mean, he's going down. He got the fist. Tell him, let's load this wagon. Don't worry about the horse being blind. See, he thought that they gave him that last onside kick, and then they got a touchdown out of it.
Yep.
And I'm sure, you know, okay, we did some good things today. We did some average, and we did some bad things, but let's get the fire out.
And they just fought a battle in that huddle, I guarantee you. Hand to hand.
Yeah, old Crash was down there. Crash had his knees bent and his fists doubled up. This is going to be another onside kick.
Yep.
This is the onside kicking team of the Vikings. And to the left here would be what you call the onside prevent or a hands team of the Rams.
49-31, 3:48 left. Minnesota still has all of their timeouts left.
And this is a restraining line, the line where the ball has to go over that line before the receiving team can touch it. I mean, before the kicking team can touch it.
That might be the straightest line you ever drew.
I know.
That's good.
Nerves of steel. Doesn't bothers me.
Don't go overboard. They go straight ahead.
You got it.
They say we got it. I don't know who we is, but the Rams.
I think we are the Rams, and I think Minnesota probably touched it before it went that 10 yards.
Billy Jenkins came up with it.
So now Frank Gans, old Crash, ought to be happy now, because his special teams did put out that little fire, and that offense can get back here and run some time off this clock.
But they don't run much time off the clock. They get it in the end zone.
Yeah, but I think now they've had enough of that other stuff, because they know with Jeff George, he'll keep slinging that thing at you, and if he keeps slinging and has Randy Moss out there, they can still put some points up there. You got to calm this thing down.
How about 90 points? Tackle for a loss is Marshall Faulk.
Ball carrier. Tackle by Griffin.
Kurt Warner, you said he was in the zone. His quarterback rating 144. That's off the scale. 5 TD passes, team playoff record. 390 yards, a team playoff record. 84.3% complete, third best in playoff history.
I think if anyone is wondering if he's for real, you don't have to wonder anymore.
158 is perfect. Incomplete. Well, he's not going to break perfect.
That's a funny number for perfect.
158?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. He was at 144 before that incompletion. 3 minutes left. Clock stopped.
You know, and sometimes you know, you get into that zone, then you start your celebration, and you know, and recess breaks out, and it's hard to get it back, and that's what's happening to the Rams now. That you know, recess broke out, and they're having a tough time getting back to work.
Inside trap handoff. Flag on the play. Faulk was the ball carrier, didn't go anywhere.
And I would think if it's against the Rams, I would think that Minnesota would turn it down and make them punt.
Face mask
Just
against the Vikings.
Well, it's not against the Rams.
Face mask, defense, number 56, 5 yards, repeat, third down.
Dolman.
You know, we talked about a shootout, and you know, this is going to be a shootout, and These are the kind of numbers you get right here when there's a shootout.
Gonna be.
Look at it. No, I mean, before you think,
Yeah.
I mean, you look at these two teams and you say, with all these weapons, there's going to be a shootout. And then right there are numbers of a shootout.
Well, this qualifies. 3rd and 10. No flag. That's Falk, lost yardage.
28, Marshall Falk, the ball carrier.
Yeah, now I'm sure everyone's saying,
McDaniel.
why didn't the Minnesota defense play like this the whole game? And the answer is the Ram offense didn't play like this the whole game.
The Ram offense played with the sense of urgency that the Minnesota defense is playing with now.
Well, they came out in an attack mode and they attacked the whole game, and then they put it into glide here, and we're seeing the Rams in glide, and the Minnesota Vikings in that urgency you're talking about that says, you know, when we lose, we're out of it. And you know, there were 8 teams in the playoffs coming into this weekend. 7 of them are going to lose their last game. And that's the toughest game because you don't have a game the next week. And you have to live with that loss for 6 months.
Well, Red McCombs, who's a great guy, the owner of the Vikings, in his 2 years of ownership, he got beaten in the championship game by Atlanta last week. This week, he makes it almost to the final game.
Yeah, last year he got beat by Atlanta.
Last year, I'm sorry. Did I say last week?
Last year, and they were all ready to go to the Super Bowl.
Start, 56, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
This is a thing that, you know, once you get, as I said, you get it, and then once you let it go, it's hard to get back on that last play. You know, Marshall Falk, you know, was trying to run the ball, run some time off the clock. He couldn't get back to the line of scrimmage, and he was a little upset with his offensive line.
Rams kick bounces out of bounds. Here you see it happen. What you're talking about, you see it happen so many times. Tonight, Bart becomes a faith healer on an all-new Simpsons, followed by the new hit comedy of the Washington Post calls the best new sitcom of the season, an all-new Malcolm in the Middle, after an all-new Simpsons tonight on Fox.
Can't beat all new.
Well, I started to say a minute ago, John, it's like a basketball team. You run fast break and you get ahead, and then all of a sudden the coach says, let's slow it down. And then they try to pick it up again when the other team begins to catch up, and you can't do it.
Marshall Falk was in there wanting to know what the heck's going on.
Yeah. 1st and 10 at the 15. George. Pass is picked off. A sliding Todd Light. Now they're saying he didn't have it.
They've been doing that to Chris Carter. That's the way they've been trying to play him.
It's incomplete. The ball hit the ground.
The ball hit the ground.
2nd down.
Yeah, they're trying to double cover Randy Moss and get the jump, and then Chris Carter, they're trying to get under, and they've been doing a pretty good job at it. You see Chris Carter right here is you jumping for, that was just a bad throw there, but they know that he's not going deep, so they're playing underneath him, and the way they've been playing Randy Moss is over the top.
2nd and 10. 2.5 minutes left. George fires up the middle to Andrew Glover. Misfires.
We're talking about the guy that had a motor going. That Grant Wistrom is still going. There's Georgia Frontiere, the owner of the Rams, and down to celebrate with her guys. Dick Vermeil, what a story. You know, last year he was too old. He'd been out of the game too long, 14 years. The game has passed him by. He was too tough a disciplinarian, worked him too hard, and now he's a wise man. Coach of the year.
George had a man Matthew Hatchett and overthrew him.
I remember Dick Vermeil when I first started coaching, Pat. We used to go to coaching clinics, and they'd have, you know, coaches from the big colleges would talk, and we'd all take notes. In fact, Mike White would be there. He was the guy right next to him, the assistant head coach there. And we'd all take notes, and then we'd go back and we'd teach that stuff. But, you know, like big old linemen like me, we always had sloppy notes. You'd put them in your back pocket. You'd sweat them. You'd spill something. You'd lose them. Dick Vermeil took the neatest notes. And then you know what he would do for nothing? He offered that he would, if you would just leave your address with him, he would send you a copy of his notes. And he did it for every coach in the state of California.
Flag on the play as Hakeem fields Berger's punt. I did his audition with him, and he had his preparation notes so meticulous. He's going to take my place, and he took us in and introduced us to Bill Parcells that day.
And what a coach he's been for a long time, huh?
Here's Jeff George. Pass is caught by Jake Reed.
George's pass complete.
Well, they brought Devin Bush. They were going for it. They had to. Devin Bush is a free safety, and he stayed back a little too long. Had he got a better jump on it, he would have got to Jeff George before George threw that ball.
That ball was almost picked off. It just, one of the Ram defenders flashed by just before Jake Reed made the catch. 1st and 10, nevertheless.
I mean, the Ram defense is trying to get back in here and go, and they're bringing, you know, blitzes, safety blitzes now, just a 4-man rush.
George, deep to Moss. No flag. They got their feet tangled up. Dexter McKeon is back there with him. Moss is saying, "Hey."
They don't count that tripped up feet. No. They don't count that as a penalty. You know, at one time, I think they used to call that.
Yes, they did.
But now when they get tripped up, in fact, I don't see the feet getting caught. I don't see anything happening there.
Except he fell down.
Yeah. Dexter McLean has played well, though. I mean, he's a scrappy guy, and he's been scrapping against those two wide receivers all day. Randy Moss most of the time.
2nd and 10.
The flag came out.
Penalty flags.
But those two corners, both of them have done a good job. I don't know if that's not against Randy Moss.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the bench of the offense. 15 yards. Still 2nd down.
It was the official that threw the flag, Pat. He was on the Vikings sideline, and he just came out and just threw the flag out of there. So someone either did or said something to him over on the sideline.
Moss was on the bench.
And it could have been him because he was still upset about not getting that call on that deep one. But it was someone because it was right. It was the official right in front of the, Viking bench. I don't think it would have been Foge. Foge would be if his defense were in, it could be Foge.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, I would.
Somebody called somebody an unpleasant name.
And I don't want to say who it was, but if I had to guess, I would guess it was Moss because, you know, he was the guy that the play was called on, and he was still over there.
George. That's Chris Carter. Laterals it out. Brought it to Jake Reed.
George's pass completed to Carter, who in turn lateral to Jake Reed.
Let's watch Randy Moss over here. Now, this is when he was on the sideline. And again, the thing did come from him. I wonder if he squirted that official.
Yeah.
There's the official.
Yeah, I think he did.
That's it. Yeah. He'll squirt the water bottle to the official. You can't do that.
An old trick. The Rams' first playoff since they've been here. And St. Louis' first playoff game ever in the NFL. 3rd and 5. Jeff George out of the gun. Fires upfield. Incomplete. Juggled by Carlester Crumpler. And finally dropped.
How about the way they started this game? We just saw a shot down there of Isaac Bruce, and and they get the ball. They're down 3-0. The Rams are, and they go play pass on first down, double post, and Isaac Bruce just runs right by everyone, and he's really the guy that got it all started. And of course, you know, Kurt Warner took it over and then spread it out to everyone else. Isaac Bruce, you know, caught 4 passes and 1 touchdown, and that 1 touchdown was the first offensive play the Rams had.
77 yards, touchdown. Flag on the play.
You've been in football a long time. Have you ever seen a player squirt an official with a water bottle?
No.
You ever see him like when you played, they had the old water bucket? You ever see him throw it on the official?
Well, no, but I've seen him put a towel down in there and get it nice and wet with some ice stuck to it and throw it at the official.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Well, probably if there were ice stuck to it at the old bottom of the bucket, there'd probably be a lot of other stuff stuck to it too.
That guy's not playing
defense
anymore.
Number 57, 5 yards, still 4th down.
Still 4th down.
I know what Dick Vermeil is thinking right here. I mean, that he's upset with the penalty. You know, not that the Vikings still need three touchdowns to beat them in 1:47 seconds, but he just wants to get this game over. You know, get this game over, go do a little celebrating, and start getting ready for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
4th and inches. They got the inches. Chris Carter to midfield. He got it.
George's pass completed.
Jeff George and the Vikings are making the Rams play more and longer and a little harder than I think they wanted to at this point of the game.
George spikes it. Stops the clock at 1:26. They still have two timeouts left. A flag on the play.
The Rams in disarray here. Like I said, I think they started celebrating a little too long. I don't think they're not in danger of losing the game, but they started their celebration a little too soon.
That's one of the things that Dick Vermeil doesn't really like is disarray.
No, but the little disarray gives you something to get on them about for next week.
George for Carter. Incomplete. London Fletcher back there.
Yeah, that was I was watching London Fletcher in practice the other day, and he can get back quicker. I mean, he can start up there in the line of scrimmage. Here he is back here knocking a ball down. In fact, the ball hit him in the head. The old middle linebacker starts there. He's been stopping the run all day. Now he has to defend the post, and the ball hits him right in the hat. But he can. I mean, he can get around the entire football field as quick as any linebacker.
Kurt Warner has 390 yards passing. Jeff George has 389 yards passing.
Jeff George is going to pass for more yards than Kurt Warner.
Screen pass goes to Robert Smith. Smith, you can hear him yelling, keep him in, keep him in, keep him in bounds.
Now that's the thing you want to do when you have the lead and you're trying to run the clock out, is you want to keep them in bounds. Of course, when you have the ball or you're behind, you want to get out of bounds to stop the clock.
Timeout Minnesota. They still have one. I remember last year when we did the Rams game out in San Francisco, the last game of the year when they were in total disarray. They weren't very good, but Dick Vermeil at that time even was praising London Fletcher, saying this guy is a player, he's going to be good. He gives you he's got all those coaching cliche things. Coming up, the post-game report. JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris, post-game interviews. Look ahead.
Neil talks about London Fletcher. You notice a smile always breaks out on his face?
Yep. Flag on the play.
Yep, he's old farm boy, Adam Timmerman.
Here's George. Going for the end zone to Chris Carter. And again, it's incomplete.
You know, Chris Carter, I saw him in an interview, and he was talking about that he might be retiring, and I think it was in the context if the Vikings were to go to and win the Super Bowl that he would consider it. But Chris Carter is one of those guys that has played a long time and has never gotten old.
That's right. He got hurt. He got well quickly. For those of you in the St. Louis market, stay tuned to continuing coverage of the St. Louis Rams on the Fox 2 postgame show following the Budweiser postgame report. Another flag. A reminder, stay tuned, those of you in the St.
Has played his last game. He was trying to get a championship. I mean, he's had everything else. He's, you know, the 4th leading sacker of all time. He's played well. He's been All-Pro. He's been Pro Bowl. He's been all those other things, but hadn't won a Super Bowl ring.
Leroy Horde. And here come the flags. That's going to be a face mask. Stops the clock. 52 seconds left. 49-31.
You know, congratulations and that touchdown.
Yeah,
Tucker congratulating him on his touchdown. Oh, backup offensive lineman makes one. A guy who was a defensive lineman makes one. This hasn't been a bad game for linemen making big plays. 1st and 10, Minnesota.
George dumps it out to Robert Smith, who heads for the sideline, runs it out of bounds, stops the clock. 45 seconds left.
I know one thing that the Rams can't do is you can celebrate, but you can't spend too much time celebrating. And I learned a lesson the hard way. Years ago, we played a game and everyone said this is really the championship game. We're playing the Miami Dolphins and we went, like they said, this is a championship game.
Yeah.
And then we play the Dolphins and we win, and celebration, carrying off the whole thing. On Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, we were still celebrating. Pittsburgh comes in, beats us, they go to the Super Bowl. So you got to get to a little celebrating and right back to work.
George. Carter.
Oh, you got that right.
Now you hear him saying, you got that right.
Yeah. Oh, you got that one right. That sideline has been tough on those officials over there.
Look at this catch and footwork.
I mean, he's amazing.
Yes, he is.
I mean, his hands and feet and everything. Earlier they gave one to Bobble, and they probably thought that the guy couldn't catch the ball that cleanly, keep both feet in bounds, but they didn't realize that guy was Chris Carter.
1st and goal. Leroy Horde trying to move the stack. Can't get it done. Jeff George calls timeout. And that's the last one for the Vikings, the last timeout.
Yeah. They're just trying to cool off down. All the players around there drinking. I think George is down there taking a drink.
I think you're right. Touchdown, Randy Moss.
There's a touchdown now. That stops the clock. And then we'll get another onside kick try.
31 seconds left.
The Vikings are going to say we just got started too late. We should have, instead of that running and balance and all that stuff, when you have Randy Moss and Chris Carter out there, maybe we should have just came out and threw every play. Of course, the Rams weren't playing then the way they're playing now.
No, they weren't. They go in for 2. Incomplete for Randy Moss, but a flag on the play.
And that's their normal goal line defense.
Hordes the deep back. George pointed to his left. They go right. They fake it right. Touchdown or extra point is incomplete. It was a 2-point attempt for Andrew Glover.
And now they're just going to prolong this thing. So now we got the 2 points don't count here, but we're going to have the onside kick try again. Oh, Frank Gans will be down there. He'll get that Ram group going again.
Mike Jones just raked it out of his hands.
Yeah, I think that should have been a 2-point conversion, though, because he had control of it. He came down, and because it's in the goal line, once you break the play and you have control and you come down with both feet, that should have been a touchdown.
Not a touchdown.
Well, 2 points.
2 points, right. I said the same thing.
You're going to score some points.
You look at that score. If they had made both of those 2-point conversions, now they could tie it with an onside kick and recover it.
And a touchdown.
Yeah. If the onside kick were successful and if they made the touchdown. Anderson. And the Rams down it. Isaac Bruce takes it and just stays there. And they'll let the clock run now.
Now I think the crowd can start celebrating again. Did you notice about a half hour ago the crowd started celebrating, the Rams started celebrating, everyone started celebrating, and then the Vikings started throwing the ball all over the lot, and the whole place went quiet, and the Rams sideline kind of quieted down. But now I think they can say, get into celebrations.
It qualifies as a shootout, Coach. Warner just kneels down, and that should do it. Time to shake hands.
Yep, the Rams were 8-0 in regular season here, and then playoffs are 1-0. So the Rams have been perfect in this stadium this year.
And Dick Vermeil named Coach of the Year as well. He should have been.
I bet Kurt Warner is MVP of the league.
As he should have been.
Well, he should be.
Let's go down to Ron Pitts now on the sideline.
All right, thanks a lot, Pat. Hey, Kurt, you come a long way as an Iowa Barnstormer. Head to the NFC Championship game, baby. How does it feel?
Feels good, It's a long last 5 minutes, but feels good now that we got here. We've been telling people all along we were for real, and I'm glad we got a chance to come out and show it. Fans were great today, and we just want to keep things going.
Got the big bad Tampa Bay Bucks coming along. Great defense. What are you thinking about them and how to attack that game?
I have no idea yet. I'm going to savor this one for a night, and then I'm going to get back to work on Monday and, get preparing for next Sunday. But we're just going to attack the way we have all year, keep doing the things we've been doing, and go get another victory.
142.9 passer rating today. Good job. Good luck next week.
Thanks a lot.
Let's go over to D-Day Johnson.
Coach, your last playoff victory was in January of 1981. How does it feel?
Well, I'm very pleased with the football team. That was the longest few minutes at the end of a football game I think I've ever been involved with. But I thought we came out in the